go, ladies and gentlemen. My pleasure to bring you Sunshine. He is in the yellow trunks rather appropriately, and he is playing Terran to the northeast versus his opponent, who is all the colors of the rainbow, Gomas. And he's currently in the red trunks, his favorite for the next 5 minutes, and he is playing Terran to the southwest.
And 1-0 lead currently, looking quite convincingly, but at the same time mistakes were made, and we'll have to see how this will work. Imagine if that was like, no, mine doesn't work now, but no, bad split was the conclusion of that.
Yep, and there's the GG. Maybe not. I don't know. I have actually seen ladder games end with like, oh god, my split was so bad I don't want to play anymore. It depresses me.
Really?
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened. I think I've done it at least once.
I don't know. It's StarCraft 2. It's very easy to split.
Yeah.
Compared to StarCraft 1.
Well, the problem is when you noob it up completely and you click behind the mineral line, then all your SCVs just standing there for a while, and you figure, what? Why am I not getting any minerals?
It's like you alt-tab and you like come back and like, oop.
Ah,
oh
right.
dear.
Well, that didn't go so well, did it? Yes, thankfully these players are something of a higher caliber there. We've got 2 barracks coming down on either side right now, just a 1 apiece, and no sign of gas just yet. We'll be seeing in a second if either of them will decide to take it. If they do, it's going to be pretty late.
No, it doesn't look like they are. I mean, this map's quite expansion first friendly.
Yep.
Barracks into expansion friendly. The reason for it is, of course, the kind of natural area, the ramp. It's very easy to defend against rushes like Marine pushes early on, Marine Hellion pushes on. It's a lot easier with a simple bunker there and so on. And both these players playing extremely fast right now as well. Meanwhile, we are going to be having some orbital commands coming up very, very shortly.
Yes, we will. And Sunshine with this little technique, and some players do this, some players don't. They simply build the supply depot. They just build it for a second in order to actually get the wall off. And we'll see how it goes. But whatever the case, Gomas is getting his orbital command, as is Sunshine, and we expect to see an expansion from both of these guys any moment. So a passive opening from both players, a very good map for doing that on.
Indeed, and the follow-up usually, it can literally be anything they want to do from here.
Yep.
It really does depend. I guess the best style, once again, is very similar to how they played before, going up for a couple more barracks first. You can even go for early on medivacs to do pressure early on, or you can opt to go for that earlier factory to start to put pressure on to the front. And with both command centers have been put down, both gases taken here by Sunshine, so does want to take immediately, but only a single one taken here for Gomas. So it looks like Gomas wants to be adding on more barracks first of all, probably adding on a tech lab onto this first barracks, getting that combat shield, adding on those extra barracks to make sure that he's comfortable and safe. Whereas on the other hand, we are going to have a factory coming up super fast here for Sunshine.
Yeah, and we'll see what comes out of that one. It wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of Hellion poking here and there, although it is entirely possible simply to wall off against that one. Gomas is doing exactly what you suggested, simply because he doesn't want to use the SCVs in the gas. He'd rather that they were mining. He wants to get this saturated as quickly as possible, and then he'll be able to drop double mules onto the natural there to get things going quickly as well.
And where does Sunshine go from here? I mean, he can actually add on a starport and go for a funky Cloak Banshee timing.
Yep.
That's actually something we've seen a lot within the GSL. Catches a lot of players off guard. But we do actually have the engineering bay going down nice and early from Sunshine. Usually 6 minutes is the time for the timing, just as the Banshee pops out.
Yep.
So you place down the engineering bay at 6 minutes, then you can go directly into a turret. But he's done it a little bit early here, you know, kind of scared of anything, which is probably a refinery first as well, because he hasn't scouted until this one SCV now, which isn't really going to get any information anyway, so it doesn't really make too much sense to even send it out. And there is the tech lab, and there is the starport, so we may actually be seeing that Banshee come out, and we do have the expansion down. There is a scanner to the main base and sees it as well, and there is the threat gone down already in his eyes that Banshees actually could come out from here, or it could simply just go directly into tanks and start getting that Viking count up as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that Sunshine did go for this blind engineering bay very, very early on with the the missile turret, just a little bit paranoid about what his opponent could potentially do to him. It turns out that that was entirely the wrong decision, and Gomas just has oodles of time to get an engineering bay out and get the missile turrets down in order to deal with that. I'd perhaps like to see Sunshine make use of this engineering bay, especially with the gas, in order to transition into some kind of upgrade heavy style, maybe a +1 timing push of some sort, but it's not happening there. We've got the Starport and the Cloak Banshee coming in. I really don't expect it to do all that much.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, the engineering base finished, +1 it's on its way, turrets are going to be made as well. We have combat shields done as well, and with combat shields, a Banshee's going to take 3 hits to kill a Marine compared to the 2 of normal. And usually, when you get a Banshee out early on, if you can't do damage to SCVs, you wear down the army by just 2 hitting the Marines all the time.
Yep.
So it's not going to really work out that well whatsoever. And a good follow-up to this from Gomas is to go for Stim. Go for Medivacs nice and early and literally just go for a simple Marine timing attack.
Yep.
You can drop them, you can walk in the front door, because all the gas has been spent elsewhere rather than into early attacks, of course.
Yep. And then what do you do from that point is you just can't hold it. You don't have the necessary numbers, you've thrown the gas away, and everything goes horribly wrong from there on in. Gomas himself looks like he very much is going for a Marine timing attack. He is throwing down the infantry weapon level 1, which is almost halfway through, and the Stim, and there is the Starport to follow that up with a reactor, so simple Marine medevac.
The thing is, though, that Gomas hasn't built any turrets, which is surprising. I mean, he saw it coming and just was going to be like, all right, I scanned you, you can't do it now, I've seen you going for it.
And he went and did it anyway.
He did it anyway, and he's not really going to be able to do that much damage. 3 hits instead of 2. You'll be able to pick off a few SCVs and a mule here and there, but that turret is going to complete very, very shortly.
Very curious that he even just let him do that. You can't. He had the engineering bay anyway. Why not just build 1 missile turret? It's not a big investment considering, and I don't really know why he allowed Sunshine to at least do a bit of damage. Picking off the mule is always good, and that denies a significant amount of income there. So I still don't think it was worthwhile to go for the Cloak Banshee, because he hasn't done enough damage to justify it, but he's done more than he should have.
Indeed, and now we actually are having the classic mech versus bio war coming out here, as we do have Sunshine playing his more traditional style of mech compared to Gomas, who's gone pure bio here, and we'll want to start tank production soon, but more importantly we'll want to start a command center soon. Actually, the Banshee on the natural doing a lot of damage here, 6-7 kills, and a non-reacting Gomas loses a lot of SCVs here.
I'm in utter shock that this has been allowed to happen. It really is absolutely absurd. He's going to then take 10 kills and then get out, and a scan wasted as well. Gomas not executing that well at all, and his defense is lacking, to say the least, and this is perhaps going to just force Gomas to just go and try and attack from this point, and he's already taken significant economic losses, which once again should not have happened. He's on 43 SCVs to 51.
I'm not sure how well this is going to go down. Siege Tech is done, he has 4 tanks out already, Hellions are in the making too, so they're going to be able to buffer a lot, but 1-1 is done on these Marines. They are going to be quite damageable to these tanks, especially if you can get into good position. The scan goes down, but 1 Marine is going to see this, and then immediately we're going to siege up, and I don't think it's going to be able to break this whatsoever. So he's going to fall behind in the economy line as well, because he's only just now started his 3rd phase too.
Yeah, I'm questioning this maneuver, I really am. Blue Flame has, look, that's half the Marines just melted in a couple of salvos. Why would you do that? That is an almost suicidal charge there. Gomas not looking on the same form that he was in last game, and I'm very confused as to what he's trying to do here.
Oh, he's not going to get the Banshee, and another big Stim, unfortunately, and the scan does finally get it. But at the same time, when you play bio versus mech, the way that you should be playing it is you should be expanding all over the place, getting your economy, and actually the Banshee doing even more damage. The secondary Banshee does, well, it's got 12 kills overall, and in this game so far, 10 SCVs have been killed versus an expected Banshee rush, which shouldn't have happened. Wasted scan, wasted stims, and he hasn't got a 3rd base up, he hasn't got a 4th base up, because these are things you need to do against the immobile mech. You know, if you play mech, you cannot attack early on. You have to wait until it is 160, 180 supply before you go anywhere. And currently at 120 supply. So there's a long time until we get up to those numbers. You have a lot of time to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, Gomas is, if I'm totally honest, playing a bit sloppy here, which is quite disappointing considering what he's been able to do in the previous games. Now looking to try and do some damage with a drop. This area is fairly undefended. The tanks are not deployed in the right position. Even if they were, they'd be doing damage to that oversaturated mineral line there. The single Hellion will not be enough to deal with that. More Hellions from Sunshine, however, trying to push around the flank, not finding a way in as Gomas takes control of the center.
And takes control of his third finally, which is going to be great for him because he needs to get double upgrades going as well. When you play Bio, you also have to work heavily on your upgrades to keep up. And these Marines are going to get caught off guard a little bit. Or actually does manage to stim and pull back. But again, stimming, there's very little medivacs out here. He's got nothing to heal these with either. And still, look at the supply difference. This should be reversed.
Yeah, this should not have gone the way that it has for Gomas, but unfortunately he made some very obvious mistakes. Here comes the drop, and that might end up being denied by that missile turret. He's going to have to drop very, very fast. He might even, yeah, he's going to end up losing 2 Marines in that, so that wasn't exactly good for him either. The cleanup should be fairly simple. Even with 2 Marauders in that, they're still just going to be killed quite rapidly. The Banshee comes in just to help out, and I don't think Gomas really wants to see that Banshee again, honestly.
No, not at all. And he hasn't got the +2 armor from his engineering base. You know, invested in the second engineering bay, but he's not using it yet. And that may have been quite a crucial mistake here. And let's have a look at the upgrades for the Met player right now. It's currently +1 vehicle weapons on the way. But to be honest, upgrades don't matter as much. The more important thing is to push up to that army. To a 180 plus supply is where the most comfortable area is going to be for him, where he can start to crawl along the map, start to take the rest of the map. And we're not seeing that, you know, the harassment, the dropping, nothing's been successful so far for him. He's trying again at the north side, but I don't even know how successful this is going to be, as it's not even going to bother to go. It's just going to go home.
Yeah, yes it is. He's going to have to pull back. They actually leaves a single Marine there, I assume, to spot drops coming in from Sunshine. I think Sunshine's not going to drop. He's just going to go right up the middle, and why would he not? A quick stim might catch those tanks out of position, but the Blue Flame Hellions give Gomas pause for thought, and the center now firmly in the control of Sunshine. Makes things a bit messy. You've got another drop coming down, trying to deny this 4th base here. Not a huge amount of units. A response from Hellions would clean this up. Yeah, that is not going to go down.
Nice tank on the top though. He's going to do a bit of damage here, but at the same time a Banshee in the mix, and Vikings can give range to the, well, not give sight range to the low units, and it is dealt with very easily. And a Medivac goes straight through the middle with units, going to try and drop on a single tank, which probably isn't the best idea. He was expecting a lot more siege tanks there actually, but does, oh look at this, actually rather smart here being able to do that.
I like that. He actually forced the scan node to clean that up as well, and of course if he didn't scan he would have lost the tank, so interesting little trade there. Sunshine still has a maxed out army though, and of course he's now going to attack. There's no purpose for him not to do so. He just wants to go and push, secure this. His tank count is 17. Fairly significant. It's going to come down to positional play here. Gomas does have some information. He's able to spot from the higher ground right there. There's a drop coming into the back, which hasn't done a huge amount. The Medivac's already been shot down. Should be able to be cleaned up there by the Hellion. And then Sunshine is going to try and siege up in this area here, and it's going to be a protracted ground war by the looks of it.
And they are going to kind of circle around. That's the best thing about this matchup, is all the movement involved in Terran versus Terran makes it so dynamic and so in-depth. And a lot of tanks are around, but they're doing not that much damage because he's going to lose his 3rd base if he's not careful here. But at the same time, look at all these Hellions streaming back.
Yeah, the Hellions coming in and looking for a massive surround. SCVs, the optimal counter to tanks, as you can see there. And Sunshine, knowing that he would have lost a lot otherwise, was able to go in there and absolutely crush that attack. Another drop comes in from the top, looking to try and deny that reactor. It will go down, but it's not going to do really a huge amount of damage otherwise. He does need to repair that orbital command. If he doesn't do that, then there we go. I was going to say that would be quite embarrassing. You wouldn't want that to happen. Gomas on 136 supply. Sunshine is now remaxing up to 200. And while Gomas does have a pretty strong economy, he is on 86 SCVs and he's mining now from 4 bases. He doesn't really have an answer to this force that's now barreling down the center.
Yeah, I mean, he can't even have sight range on it because there's too many Vikings from Sunshine, which are going to allow the sight range of his own tanks to just... Oh, actually, he's got to be so careful about this. Running in here, I don't think he knew that all those tanks were there, but now he just has pure position and demolish all of these so easily. Tanks, SCVs, Hellions and SCVs just buffering so much. for these tanks to do the damage.
Yeah, it didn't really matter that he didn't see it there. He had just pure numbers, and there wasn't enough damage coming out from Gomas in order to do that. And even SCV's now rolling in for repairs and just to once again try and buffer some of the damage there. A last-ditch defense by Gomas consisting of a single tank and a few Marines that really wish they weren't there. But I think that Sunshine's just going to now annihilate everything up to the north of the map, and we'll be able to take this without too much of a problem.
Yeah, solid defense here from Sunshine while playing Mech here. Gives him the ability to just make this army, defend with it, and then push out once it's maxed out. And he's played it very well, to be honest, and is going to kill the third base here for Gomas. Is going to march up to the fourth as well and get rid of that. And then he does scan also the lower one and see that that is there. That will be a hit on the target list as well. Meanwhile, Gomas is at 2-2 upgrades, working on +3 attack, is going to try and drop harass once again while holding his natural, but at the same time, 4-5 bases up and running for Sunshine compared to a miserable 3 at the moment.
And Sunshine's Banshee is still, it finally dies. That's disappointing. 21 minutes into the game, the Banshee that really, I think, has actually won him the game now is now finally being destroyed. Oh, that's a wonderful little gift. Try to hide in the corner there. I have a feeling those Hellions are going to have some fun times in a moment.
Yeah, really good defense. Look at these turrets, not even allowing the drop in the bottom right to actually enter, and then Vikings clean it up anyway. And the reason why Mech is so strong on this map as well is because of these 4 little cliffs in the center of the map, these mountains in the center of the map. You can hug tanks with them all day long, and oh my god, there is the economy gone for Gomas. But these mountains, these cliffs, can actually hug tanks behind them, and it's so difficult to engage with a bio force. And we've seen full advantage from that Sunshine. Last-ditch effort here from Gomas.
Into a transposition, down comes the mule from Sunshine. GG, ladies and gentlemen. There you go, Sunshine right back in the fight, and 1 game apiece in this best-of-3 series. And I have to ask a question, was that Sunshine winning the game, or was that Gomas losing the game?